Hello and welcome to version 2.0 of my channel, CoinChief. My name is Ian. Welcome. Version 1.0 of this channel was determined to be deceptive in practice or whatever by the content gods at YouTube. So this is version 2.0. I decided not to rebrand because I'm too lazy to, redo the artwork and logos and everything that went into version 1.0, and I still have them. So here we are. We're still CoinChief. The focus of this channel is going to be, it's going to be cryptocurrency generally, but specifically areas like taxes, self-directed IRAs, the generation of passive income, and all the topics that surround those. I'm going to specifically talk about those. I'm going to drop the focus on news and talking about all of those other things. There's plenty of channels out there that do that, so there's really no need. Before I get into the video, I just want to say, YouTube, if you're listening, I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say here is financial advice. I am just a dude on the internet who is sharing what I have learned so far through my own journey. I don't endorse doing anything illegal, not paying your taxes, giving the, Caesar what is Caesar's and all that. So getting that out of the way, let's get right into it. So the target audience for this video is going to be someone who is fairly comfortable talking about, a traditional IRA through a brokerage house, someone who has their finances generally in order. You're not struggling financially. Maybe setting aside $1,000 or something is, not a life-changing event for you. So having said all that, let's get right into the meat of the content. So a self-directed IRA is merely a twist on the traditional IRA. I'm not going to get into exactly what a traditional IRA is. I'm going to assume that you know what it is, are familiar with it. Maybe you probably hold one. You probably also you're also holding cryptocurrency. So I don't endorse this as a first on ramp for anybody just getting into crypto. If you are that person, you're set financially, but you haven't got into crypto yet, open yourself a Coinbase account, whatever. Get comfortable doing some recurring buys, some dollar cost averaging, those sorts of things before you just jump right into this. Okay. So the main difference between a self-directed IRA and a traditional IRA is merely that you can hold, like it says here, the alternative assets normally prohibited from regular IRAs. And I'll get more into the IRS rules on what is and is not permitted in a minute, but I'm going to just go over the key takeaways here. And this is from investopedia.com. It's a good summary of what it is. It's a variation on traditional or Roth IRA. You can hold either one. The focus here, I think, would be on the Roth IRA because of the tax-free investment implications. You pay in, the taxes are deducted, and then the dividends, you get them tax-free down the road, assuming nothing changes. You can hold a variety of alternative investments, not just cryptocurrency, but you can do real estate in self-directed IRAs that you can't do in regular IRAs. And it's not that the IRS doesn't permit it. They say that the custodians don't have to allow it. So, you have to look at it from the position of somebody like Fidelity or Vanguard. It's too much pain to do that. So why put yourself through that pain? Just put the money in, invest in, stocks, bonds, funds, whatever. It's much simpler. So point number 3 here is they're generally only available through specialized firms that offer these type of custody services. And I'm going to tell you about the one that I use later on in this video. I'm not going to get into the exact mechanics of setting it up in this video. I just want to cover the benefits, and in a later video I will cover exactly how things work once you're going through the setup and everything. The custodians can't give you financial advice so any due diligence is going to be yours to do. Um, so, so you want to understand cryptocurrency very well before you just dive right into this. But, but like I said at the beginning of the video, if you are comfortable, dealing with cryptocurrency, maybe you've dealt with multiple exchanges, you've got, your own personal wallets, MetaMask, a Trezor, Ledger, whatever. Um, this video is for you. So, and then there's the risks associated. That I'm going to focus on the fees, the possibility of fraud that exists across cryptocurrency generally. So do your due diligence on any investments that you are considering putting your personal funds into. Um, there's no, it's very, there's a lot of fraud out there, with promises of big returns. So you really have to be careful, spread out your risk, do your homework on these things. So now something we need to talk about is why you might want to do a self-directed IRA as it pertains to cryptocurrency. The obvious answer is if you set up a Roth IRA, you pay your taxes now, and crypto goes way up in the future, and you're holding the right cryptos or right mixture, then there's the potential that your investment can grow tax free, and you can withdraw tax free later on in life. Now, something else that's worth pointing out is you have the freedom to invest in a wide array of products, not only cryptocurrency, but there's your imagination is the limit here. And I think a lot of people are gonna have the question, what can't I invest in? That's actually the right question to ask, because you can invest in nearly anything, and the only limits are what the IRS says you are prohibited transactions. And I have the FAQ page pulled up right here. So it tells you prohibited transactions is the improper use of your traditional IRA account by you, your beneficiary, or disqualified person. And disqualified person is probably the biggest key here. So the disqualified persons include your fiduciary, which would be your custodian at this point, and then members of your family, which would be your spouse, your ancestors, descendants, whatever. So really, you can't do anything that benefits yourself or them directly. So you can't borrow money directly from your IRA. You can't sell property that you or one of your family members owns. You can't use it as security for a loan, and and you can't buy property for personal use like a vacation home or a primary home with IRA funds. You really can do just about anything else. And in crypto, that means, let's say for me personally, I go through Rocket Dollar, I use Kraken because they were the quickest to respond to the request for a corporate account. But once you have your funds in Kraken, as long as you keep all your transactions separate, you can set up a separate, MetaMask wallet and do all kinds of different things. Take your funds, maybe sell it out to something else and invest in a, yield farming or whatever. The sky's the limit. There's tons out there, but as pointed out earlier, do your due diligence. The same you would do with regular funds, you're going to have to do with anything going to IRA, probably especially an IRA, because you don't want to drain funds that are going to be a potential tax-free windfall down the road. Now, an obvious question you might be asking yourself is, what's the downfall? Why might I not want to do this? Well, there are a few, and I'm going to point some of them out here. The first and most obvious is you can't touch your money just like you can in a traditional IRA. It's locked in there. You have to be at least age 59 and a half, et cetera, to touch it. So, if you do this, you have to be sure this is money you're not going to need till much later on in life, depending on how old you are. You can tell by my gray hair, I'm probably much closer to 59.5 than some of you out there, but that's life. There are fees associated with this. There's typically a setup fee and a monthly fee. I can speak specifically to the custodian that I use, which is Rocket Dollar. There was a $360 one-time setup fee, and then there's a $15 monthly maintenance fee. Now, to me, those fees are minimal compared to the potential gains because I'm a crypto believer. You may not be. If you're not, then this probably isn't for you. So just keep that in mind when you're considering going into this. Now, the third and most, not the most obvious, but you're probably thinking, well, is there alternatives to this? Yes, there are. If you Google crypto IRA, there are IRAs out there that hold specifically, cryptocurrency of different types, but there's pros and cons to these. So this is a token tax article that popped up. It gives a little summary of 5 best crypto IRAs. Now, with all of these, you're not going to have the freedom to move your funds around. So that's one drawback right out of the gate you need to know about. You're going to put money in, and they're going to custody everything for you. And maybe that's for somebody. Maybe that's for some people. Maybe you like crypto, but you don't want to have to deal with the, private keys and all that stuff and messing with wallets. If that's the case, go for it. I can just tell you, for me personally, it's too much of a limitation in general. So we get a rundown here of 5 of them. And I highlighted where it talks about the monthly fees and the charges on crypto trades. And these fees are going to be much higher than what I'm dealing with Rocket Dollar. I can't speak to other custodians, but generally you're paying roughly 1% or more on per crypto trade, and then a much higher monthly service fee, and in some cases a setup fee. So Bitcoin IRA, they don't highlight what the fees are. So they just say vary based on the user's initial deposit size. I Trust Capital, that's another big one you maybe have heard of. So they charge nearly $30 a month, and then 1% charge on crypto trades. That's a lot. If you make a $10,000 trade, that's going to be $100. $1,000 trade, that's going to be $10 fee. So that's eaten up right away. And then you have to outpace this $30 monthly fee. So there's that. Bit IRA, $195 annual fee, $50 account establishment fee. That's not horrible. And a monthly 0.05% storage fee, that could add up quickly if your account gets big enough. Broad Financial, $1,300 to open. Wow. You better be coming with a lot of money to make that make sense. And about $300 per year after that. And then Alto Crypto IRA, fees vary, but $2 to $25 per month with a 1.5% trade fee. And you see here that users can choose from 32 coins. Wow. That's nothing considering there's like roughly 4,000 cryptocurrency tokens out there right now. Not all of them are good, obviously, but only 32. That's not a lot. And I would say these are probably great for people that have a large sum of money to invest. You don't want to be bothered. Maybe you're we're talking big sums of money. But for everyday Joes like me, I have a W-2 job. I would like to get out of the rat race someday. Something like this is not going to work. It's going to eat you alive fee wise. And as I alluded to earlier in the video, I mentioned that I use Rocket Dollar as my custodian. It was a $360 setup fee, $15 a month maintenance fee. I will post a referral link in the description and in my about part of my channel. If you are interested, I'd appreciate if you use the link, but if you don't want to, that's fine too. I'm not here to necessarily shill my links. Um, I just want to share knowledge so that people go into these types of things with as much information as possible. Because this is a question I've gotten a lot in different forums, whether it be Twitter or Reddit. When people hear self-directed IRAs, there's just not a lot of content out there on them. There's, it's kind of, you feel like it's really one of those legalese sides of things, where you almost have to be a lawyer to talk about it, or a CPA. It's really not the case. I mean, you just have to kind of understand what you're getting into fully before you do it. But Rocket Dollar is super easy. I'll do a separate video on the setup process maybe at a later point. Well, that does it for this video. If you enjoy this content or similar type of content, as you can see by my channel, I have no subscribers right now, so any subscribers would be helpful. Give me a like and subscribe. Certainly appreciate it, but not a big deal if you don't. I'm just here to share knowledge. If there's any questions or anything you'd like to see covered in future videos, or questions about this video, drop me a comment. Check out my links. I'll have referrals for all the products I use. And without further ado, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.